Yo, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. This is the preview, the big match preview ahead of Crystal Palace against Manchester United. United's next fixture. After this one, we've got 2 games left in the Premier League, so it's just down to the last 3 games for United now. Win all of those games, we are in the Champions League. Get 7 points from those games, we're probably in the Champions League. But it's a huge game for Manchester United at Selhurst Park, and we obviously looking ahead to that game. Little bit of nerves, little bit of confidence, and a little bit of all the rest. Because after that game against Southampton, we're not as confident as we were. But should we be so down? Should we? We'll be discussing that. We'll be discussing the team news. We'll be looking ahead to the game. I'll be giving you my predicted 11, my predicted scores. We'll be answering some of your questions. We'll be doing all of that in this here preview. The previews are normally me with someone else, either Dean or Jay or Joe or a combination of all of those guys. But today, it's been short notice. I've had to get it out myself, so it's just me on my own. Before we get any further into the preview, can I just say happy birthday to Ross Murphy. Absolute legend is Ross. Is a part of the AdamMcKola TV members as well. But he's always supporting what we're doing here on AdamMcKola TV, what we're doing on Devil's Paddock, everything. So I always see you, Ross, and I always see a lot of you as well in there. But happy birthday to Ross today. Hope you're doing well, brother, and I hope you've had a good day as well. We got Mikey Smith, Jordan Taylor, Ming, Paul B, NMG, Lokesh, Luke, Dylan, Paul B, Woofam, Ruman, Yagoob, Quasi, Assorted Juice, everyone in the comments. So thank you very much for joining us today. And as I said, I still haven't shaken off that 2-2 draw against Southampton. I tried to in the Aftermath Live, make myself feel a little bit better. And you know what? I succeeded a little bit. It doesn't feel as bad as it did. It's not as raw as it was. The circumstances in which that game fell apart, obviously, you could say poor substitutions, but Ollie wasn't to know Brandon Williams was going to get injured and we're going to have to play the last 10 however many minutes it was with Brandon Williams out and 10 men, so we couldn't have foreseen that happening. But you look at the Pogba substitution, the way that affected our possession, Bruno coming off, the way that affected it even more, and I don't know whether that you can blame that on Ollie or blame that on the players that came in, because Fred, McTominay, they're players that we have relied on this season that have actually done well in areas. Now, have we seen a combination of, because we've started the same team so many times, that the players like McTominay and Fred and all those guys, they've lost a little bit of rhythm in their performances. When they're coming on now, they may be thinking, I need to make my, make not a name for myself, but make the manager sit up and think, he should be starting the next game. And maybe that does something a little bit different to the pressures that they have, when they are starting week in, week out. Obviously, that's something that they have to respond to, react to, and get better at doing. But you can either blame the players or you can blame Ollie. Now, what you can say is that it shows that we still need depth. A lot of people talking about Jack Grealish, Jadon Sancho, all these kind of players. Now, regardless of whether we sign Jadon Sancho, because we need to do that, we need a right winger, we're crying out for one. Regardless of whether we get Jadon Sancho, we still need more depth. If Bruno's not playing, or we have to substitute him. If Pogba's not playing, or we have to substitute him, or he's injured, or Bruno's injured, whatever. We need someone to come in. And I think Jack Grealish, you bring him on, holds up possession differently for you. Or you maybe can start him here and there. Maybe that's why Ollie's not played, a mixture of players in the last couple of weeks, because he maybe doesn't trust some of those players in the squad to be able to do the job that he wants those players that are starting to do. So you also have to think about that as well. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lacking a little bit of faith in some of those other players? Or is it just that these lot were playing so well, you don't fix something that's not broken, do you know what I mean? But obviously we might be having to do that. The team news ahead of this game is Luke Shaw, Brandon Williams, Mason Greenwood, who took a knock as well. They all turned up to training. But Luke Shaw and Mason Greenwood have ankle injuries. And Solskjaer's hopeful that they will be back and they'll be available. But he's also saying, I have to give them as much time as possible. Now, if Luke and Brandon are out, then you have to think, right, Diogo Dalot, is he fit? Is he ready? Is he available? And he's ticking all three of those boxes at the moment, according to reports. Now, this could be a huge chance for him in the team, potentially even Ethan Laird as well. But you could put in a Diogo Dalot, and I'd be quite confident that he could do a job against Crystal Palace. I would. I wouldn't be fearful of putting, Luke Shaw into Diogo Dalot into the team, because I think he's a talented player. I think he does have to improve in certain areas, but he's a very talented player, and I think he needs an opportunity. Again, the problem, and maybe we saw that problem with McTominay and Fred when they were coming on against Southampton, is they've not had many minutes recently. So they're going to be a little bit, playing for form, playing for fitness. They're still going to be in that pre-season mode almost. And, you're going to see a lot of players flying into the next campaign, because you hear about that campaign starting in September. Now, if you're in the Europa League or the Champions League, you're playing through August. You're going to have about a week break. So there's players that could play themselves into form going into the next season, and pushing on then as well. It's going to be very strange. Do they even have a pre-season? Do you have friendlies as such? Maybe United will line one or two up for the commercial reasons and all that. But then the commercial aspects of pre-season tours are lost on. They're not going to do a tour, obviously. There isn't the time to do it. But it's lost on the fact that fans can't be allowed into the ground. So, they're probably not going to play anybody. Probably do what they did in terms of playing Stoke at Old Trafford, playing West Brom at Old Trafford, behind closed doors friendlies. They maybe put them on MUTV to earn a little bit of P. But apart from that, there's not going to be much in between the two seasons, especially if you do make it into the latter stages of the Europa League. So you have to think about that as well. But Diogo Dalot could be a big opportunity for him. Now, I hate playing Palace because they are a weird side. Like, we've had some great results against them. Like, thinking of this one right here. We had this result against them. Now, this was a game against Crystal Palace, which was great. And now I've taken this off the wall. I'm not going to be able to put it back up yet. But that was a great result against Crystal Palace. We also had... I get great pictures at Selhurst Park. I don't know what it is. We also had at Selhurst Park when Matic scored. Do you remember? With that superb volley towards the end of the game. We also had that, but they do worry me a little bit, Crystal Palace, because they have players that can threaten you. We saw Van Arnold, and that's the other picture. There I am with the lads. Go on. They're on my Instagram somewhere if people do want to see them. But there's some great pictures. This one's probably my favourite, of Matic celebrating. But then when you zoom in on Matic, you see me just smiling in the background. That is my favourite picture of all time. But Crystal Palace has seen us have some good memories. But it's also a place where it worries me a little bit. I remember was it when Palace were in the Championship? They might have been in the Championship. Was it when Darren Ambrose came to Old Trafford and scored? Was that for Palace or Ipswich? But we've had some bad results against them. We lost against them this season at home. Marcus Rashford missed a penalty at 1-0 down. Daniel James equalised late on, did the celebration. Then they went and gone and scored a winner. So we did see those kind of things, like, shock results against Crystal Palace. There go the police or the ambulance or the whatever. But we have seen things like that, and we need to guard against that. Now, they've got some very good players, from set pieces. Milivojevic can score pens. You got Wilfred Zaha, who's always going to be a threat. AU's been doing half decently this season. They've got players in there that can cause you problems. Van Arnold obviously scoring the goal. Rattling Katie Hopkins on Twitter as well, which is always great. And you think about the threats that they pose. They're safe. Do you know what I mean? They're 11 points clear of of the relegation zone. They've lost their last 5 games against Aston Villa, Chelsea, Leicester, Burnley and Liverpool. But before that, they won 4 games in a row. So they're very, they go on long runs without winning. But then they can have decent streaks of wins. They had 4 wins before that 5 defeat streak. And before that, they had 4 defeats and 4 draws on a row. Fucking hell. I thought they did a half alright this season. Clearly not. But yeah. Crystal Palace, I still think they have threats in that team against United, even though they are where they are, and even though they lost against relegation battlers Aston Villa. Benteke got sent off towards the end of that game, so he wouldn't be available. But you've still got the likes of Ayew, Kouyaté, Milivojevic, Zaha, Van Arnold that can cause you problems. Anybody worried by them? Ross Murphy makes a good point saying they should have got a point against Chelsea. Got to agree with that one as well. They played really well in that game. You should have done a Cantona against Palace, says Alien. God, I forgot about that, didn't I? Here's Arsenal embarrassing themselves, giving another... What's that called again? What is it called? It's been so long that since we got one. Guard of Honours, that's what they're called. Fucking idiots. One's been given to them already. Why are you giving more? We never got Guard of Honours at every stadium we went to. It was just Arsenal, wasn't it? The first game after you win the league? Oh, piss off. Yes, I am bitter. Guys, get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing. Adam, sirens every single day, bruv. I stick to myself. Stay inside from all the madness. We need Champions League football or players deals could be affected, plus the extra money Champions League brings in. Don't qualify, the Adidas deal gets affected and we lose 25 mil. So it's important now that we get Champions League to progress. How could I forget that? I can't forget that, bro. I can't forget that. I got a t-shirt with that on and everything. The day Eric Cantona tried to kick racism out of football. Quite literally. Hey Adam, what do you think about Claude being sacked by AFTV? Oops. Look, I think what he said was clearly a slur. I think the lies after it is what's made it worse, I think. And I think it's made the rest of them come out bad. Well, not the rest of them, the both of them come out badly for the lies that came out. You could have easily nipped it in the bud on the live stream. You could have easily nipped it in the bud just after that. But the failure to immediately apologise has basically caused it to snowball into something that it probably didn't have to be. So, yeah. Now, obviously you can't have someone saying things like that on a platform with 1 million subscribers, whether he's racist or not, or he's he knew what he was saying or not, or whatever. You can't have that being said on those platforms. Now, what I do think is that Claude has been in difficult situations at times with his his mental well-being and his mental health, and over the years that's been clear. And I think ultimately he needs to be obviously re-educated and maybe taught about why what he said was wrong. But also, I think he should be protected a little bit, because it's clear that he's an adult, but he's vulnerable in certain ways. And the internet can be a mad place, especially that environment that you have around that channel. It can be very vitriolic. And it's not a good environment to be in, I think, if you have mental health issues. And I think they've amplified those kind of things in the past, like when he's had certain instances and then putting it on a video and putting ads into an apology video that's not really an apology video. It doesn't look good, does it? But I just hope, whilst he is re-educated, that he isn't just hung out to dry and he is protected a little bit, because he deserves that at the very least, because over the last few years he would have helped them with what they've done. Obviously Robbie's done a great job with his work, pushing that, whatever, but you know, the people on camera that he's been speaking to have been a big part of it, and Claude has been. So whilst he's been an idiot, whilst he probably deserves to be punished, I also believe he deserves to be protected in a way as well, because it can be a mad space, and I don't want to see his mental well-being spiral out of control, because we don't know what his situation is like at home. We don't know whether this was all he had going for him or nothing like that. So I don't even really want, you know, I don't want to chip in onto the, you know, the backlash that he's going to be receiving at this moment in time. One Love, I know. He said, One Love said re-educated like he's not 50. I know, it's daft, innit? But I know what you're saying, bro. I know what you're saying. I just think everybody's human. You get me as well. And I don't know him, so I can't. I'm not gonna say anything. So yeah. One Love, you have to see the slur as like during over the last, I don't want to get into this and take away from the preview, but during over the last couple of years, or last, you know, when DVDs were a thing, you used to get a lot of, you know, Chinese or Korean or whatever people coming into, you know, pubs and places and selling them. So then it's like someone saying to me, "I'll go back to your corner shop" or something. It's not right. Do you get me? Whether it's bad or really bad, or there's not a scale here, like it's just not right. And I think you've seen it with Dele Alli, got away with it, and actually I'm quite shocked that Dele Alli was held to a lesser standard than Claude from Arsenal Fan TV. When you think about it, Dele Alli, a Premier League footballer for Spurs, made probably a joke that was as bad, if not worse, and he got away with it. Do you know what I mean? 1 game ban, brushed under the carpet. It wasn't even called out for what it is. Whereas here's someone else that doesn't hold the position that he does, that has been absolutely, you know. So there you go. I think that sorted that for your One Love. Right, back to the preview. Exactly, Gurpreet. Exactly. Anyway, right. Let's get back to the game. Let's get back to looking at the potential teams for the game. Let me get my graphic up right here. So we have David De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Bailly, Williams, McTominay, Pogba, James, Bruno, Rashford, Marshall. I think we're going to see a few changes. I think Williams was a cut, so providing he's not concussed, he's going to be probably in a better position to play at fullback than Luke Shaw. You don't want to keep, you know, you don't want to do anything to make Luke Shaw's injury get worse. I think Maguire's always going to start because he's the captain. I think the change we'll see in defence will be Eric Bailly coming in for Lindelof. And then I think obviously Wan-Bissaka at right back. That's not to say Maguire doesn't deserve criticism for his performances, because he does. Then in midfield, McTominay and Pogba. I thought Matic probably had his worst game since the restart. Now that could be because he's been overplayed a lot, but at the same time I think he deserves a rest. Put McTominay in. Pogba came off after 60 minutes, I think it was. You can put Pogba in. Then you got Daniel James, who I think will start this game. Mason Greenwood took a knock to his ankle, and he had swelling on that. I assume Mason Greenwood will be wanted to start against Chelsea. So we may see Daniel James come in. I also assume Nemanja Matic will be wanted to start against Chelsea, which is partly why I put McTominay in there. Then we've gone with Bruno. He's going to start. Rashford, he's going to start. And I think Martial will start too. Russ says, will he play Pogba and Bruno again? Well, my answer to that is obviously I think so. But let me know what your answers to that are. Get your predicted 11s or your answer to that question in the comments. If not Williams, then could be Delo. I agree with that, Andre. How's everyone doing? Fish, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in again. Hope you're doing well. Bruno needs a rest. He looked knackered end of the Southampton game, says Luke. Bruno's the kind of guy that says, I'll rest when I'm dead, and just plays every single game. Ollie will say, right, Bruno, I'm thinking of giving you a rest, and he'll say, come here, Ollie, let me talk to you. And he'll say, I don't need resting. You know, I've not played that much. I think you should start me. And you know what them kind of players are like. If your best players in the team are saying, start me, I'm fit. More time to start him. Wayne Rooney was like that. Wayne Rooney was like that. What about Ethan Laird? Good shout. Wouldn't mind seeing Ethan Laird coming through, getting an opportunity. Also, I forgot to thank Luke Powell for supporting AdamMcKola TV and joining as a member. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. Bobby the T-shirt artist says David May thinks Igalo will start. Thoughts? Obviously, does MUTV and stuff, so he might be close to the decisions, or he might have seen something on the training ground that's made him think that. Now Reza says, Adam, you think we can start Igalo, move Rashford to the right and Marshall to the left? That's what I do on FIFA. But as for David May's thoughts, obviously I don't know whether they're a guess or something from what he's seen, but again, maybe it wouldn't be surprised if we did, but I don't think Martial is going to come out of the starting lineup unless we play like a FA Cup 11 in this game and then play the Premier League 11 against Chelsea. But that would be a little bit wild, wouldn't it? Because we need to win this game. I'd rather... Nah, actually, that's stupid. I was about to say I'd rather win this game than win the Chelsea game, but I'd rather get to an FA Cup final than finish top 4. Well, I'd rather win an FA Cup final than finish top 4 and hope we win the Europa League, but yeah, we can get both. We can get both. Ryan says, congrats on the law degree, man. That's not... I got it quite a long time ago. And what happened in my final year was I did law because I thought, let me get to do something which will get me a great job and make my parents proud and all that stuff. And I was actually interested in criminal law, and I wanted to be a lawyer that would help defend people that, you know, needed defending. But obviously at the same time, when you're doing something like that that's so intense and it's not your main passion, like, and you're seeing people that are working, actually grafting, and you're thinking, bruh, if I went for a job interview with them, man, I ain't getting that job. They are. And my heart was just not in it at the end. I got my degree. I didn't get a first. I got a 2-1. But my heart went in it at the end. And thankfully, I found my way into something like this. Who knows how long this journey will last? How, you know, and all that. But somehow I managed to be able to do this now. So, well, not just this AdamMcKola TV, because if I was relying on this, I wouldn't be getting far. But, you know, other things as well. Why not try Igalo? He has delivered in matches so far, says Nick. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of changes. Maybe Igalo come in, but yeah, maybe not. Adam says David May was on Webby's channel. I've not seen that one yet. Check out Webby and O'Neill's channel. Make some good content over there. A little bit of... Ollie must prioritise our next match against Palace, says Pam Booty. And that's exactly what he has been saying in his press conferences. So let's have a look for this. These quotes. One sec. 1 second. Shout out United Report for the quotes, as always. So Ollie said this, bearing in mind this was this morning or this afternoon. He said, we've not trained obviously this morning yet, but we're hopeful having 2, maybe 3 of them. And when he means them, he's talking about Greenwood, Shaw and Williams. He said him and Mason, their ankles are swollen and a bit blown up in terms of Luke Shaw and Mason. I'll give them as much recovery time as possible to give them a chance. Brandon should be fine. That's why Brandon Williams is in my 11. In the MEN, there was a report that Delo is fit and ready to play against Crystal Palace if Shaw and Williams are unavailable. There's also been other reports about Jadon Sancho today, but we will look at those reports in United Daily Live tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We will have a United Daily Live tomorrow because we were supposed to have one today, but I've been uber busy all over the place. I am on the paddock watch along tomorrow and doing fan cams and that, but I don't have to leave out till late for that, so we'll get to do a United Daily Live at 12 o'clock usual time. Shall we do an on this day? Shall we do an on this day? Let's do it. Right, what day is it first? 15th of July. Right, on the 15th of July, American international goalkeeper Tim Howard joins Man United in a $1.2 million deal from New Jersey Metro Stars from Major League Soccer in the United States, who replaces Fabian Barthez as United's first choice stopper. 15th of July 2003. Now, I know that I've got something that's pretty cool, but it is a little bit of a mooch. So if you've got 20 seconds, I can get you something out which is related to that on this day. Let's do it. Let's make this a little bit fun again. Let's have a little bit of a mooch for some merch. I'll keep talking to you while I'm off camera. Nothing wrong with me being off camera at the moment. This is totally professional. I'll show you what else my mate got me as well as a little gift. But this is what I want to show you. So I've gone into my back cave for my Manchester United goodies, and now I am back. Right. So on this day in 2003, I think it was it? We saw Tim Howard signed for Man United. Now, a long time ago, is the year on this? So it is actually sick. It's there. It's right there. So this was sent to me on the 2nd of December 2005. My name is there. Cover the address. Name is there at the top. Yeah. So this was posted to me. Now, I entered a competition on Manchester United's website, and this was what I won. These are signed and worn Tim Howard gloves. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? Signed and worn. Signed and worn. Now I probably need to look after these a little bit better. I've got the certificate of authenticity somewhere. I didn't leave it in here because it's a daft idea. What else have I found? Who's this signed by? I found a ticket stub that's been signed by someone, and I can't remember who that's signed by. And I've also found some grass that Manchester United gave out to fans in 2009. That is not the high grade, people. That is grass that United gave to fans on the 5th of August 2009. So we've just found a little stash of memorabilia in there, but it was related to the on this day, which was Tim Howard. Also, last week had another bit to my collection. Which was this. Now, my good friend Ben, he collects match-worn jerseys, is what he collects. He collects match-worn jerseys, and he sent me this look. Now, when I seen Ben in Singapore, he had a match-worn jersey for the likes of Solskjaer, Beckham, Pogba, Marshall. All I was putting the shirts on, and he got me this. This is a match-worn shirt worn by Victor Lindelof. But he wore it, and it says on the certificate, in the game against Brighton, that we won 2-1 in. So that's another little bit of merch that I've received. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to find a little bit of, maybe, you know what I'm going to do, yeah? You know this random signature that I got on a ticket? This here. I don't know who it is. Oh shit, it's got my address on it. It's got my old address on it. My dad's old address on it. But nevertheless, it's got my old address on it. That's fine, it's old, I don't live there anymore. So yeah. I can send that out to someone. Yeah. And they can try and guess whose signature it is. Maybe I'll send it out to one of my members in the Discord. Oh god. No wonder the police were around my house. I haven't tried smoking it yet. Maybe that's next on the list. Brown gentleman with a few bags of grass. Yep, you're getting nicked. Yes, Luke, that is happening. Right. Guys. I think we've gone. I haven't even given you a prediction, have I? My score prediction. That shirt's from 18-19 season, I think. No. 17-18? 18-19? One of them. NMG's gone for a 2-1. Zaid says, how you been, man? Not seen your content for time. Can't believe FTD channel, man. Have you not noticed, bro? We're back like we never left, baby. We uploaded a House of the McKola Uncensored today, which you can go and check out. Birthday boy Ross is saying 3-1. Adam Wilmot saying 2-1. Luke saying 2-0. Jordan saying 1-0. Lokesh is saying 0-5. Hope you're right. Paul B saying 2-0. Andy is saying 4. Simon saying 3-1. Bobby saying 3-1. One Love 3-2. Rigzin is saying 3-0. Gurpreet saying 3-1. Adikari 2-1. Gary Skeeter thinks Martial is going to score another hat-trick. And I am going for a tight 2-1 win for Manchester United. We're going to go behind. We're going to come from behind. And we're going to win. That is what's going to be happening. And there's going to be scenes at Selhurst Park yet again. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked. You're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. All that good stuff. But for now, I have been AdamMcKola. I am out of here. Yeah, still here, but now I'm gone.